The Clockwork Ledger. Entry the first. Recovered from the personal ledger of Chief Engineer Josephine Amberlyn, City of Greyharbor, dated the 11th of October.
Greyharbor had one rule that mattered more than any law. The engine does not stop. It sat at the center of the city like a cathedral built by someone who worshipped pressure instead of gods. 11 stories of brass and iron, wrapped in pipe and cable, breathing steam into every district from the docks to the spire quarter. It had run continuously for 63 years. No one currently living had seen it started. No one currently living entirely understood how. That was Josephine's problem now.
She'd inherited the title of Chief Engineer 8 months ago, when her mentor, old Thaddeus Voss, had simply not woken up one morning. Heart worn out, he'd said, same as everyone eventually. He'd left her the keys, the ledgers, and exactly one piece of advice. Listen to it before you touch it. It will tell you what it needs if you're patient enough to hear it. She had never quite believed that until the night the engine began to slow.
It started as a shudder in the deep pipes at midnight. A stutter so faint, most engineers dismissed it as settling in old iron. By 2 in the morning, the gas lights in the lower docks had dimmed to a sickly amber. By 3, the pressure gauges across every district had dropped low enough that Josephine could no longer pretend it was nothing. She went down, past the maintenance crews, past the junior engineers arguing over blueprints none of them fully trusted, down through 11 levels of catwalk and pipe, until she stood alone at the base of the engine itself, the oldest chamber, the one Voss always kept locked, the one his ledger simply labeled the heart.
What she found there wasn't a boiler. It was smaller than she expected, a sphere of etched brass, no larger than a wine cask, suspended in a cradle of copper coils, humming with a low blue light that had nothing to do with fire. Voss's handwriting, scratched directly into the metal casing, read, "Aether core. Do not open. Do not stop listening." She realized, standing there, that the engine wasn't slowing because something had broken. It was slowing because, for the first time in 63 years, no one had been listening to it at all.
Voss's advice came back to her, and this time she didn't dismiss it. She sat down on the cold iron floor, back against 63 years of continuous machinery, and she simply listened. Not with instruments, not with gauges, just her ear against the casing, the way you'd listen for a heartbeat in someone you loved. It took almost an hour, but slowly, beneath the blue hum, she began to hear a pattern, a rhythm that wasn't mechanical at all. It was breathing.
By dawn, the pressure gauges across Greyharbor had climbed back into the green, one district at a time, like color returning to a face. The city never knew how close it had come to going dark. Only Josephine knew, and in her ledger that night, she wrote a single new line beneath Voss's warning. "It isn't a machine, it's a companion. Act accordingly."
End of Entry 1. Filed under Greyharbor, Engineering, Unclassified Anomaly. If you'd like to know what's actually inside that Aether core and what Josephine finds the next time it goes quiet, subscribe. The Clockwork Ledger, Entry 2, is already being written.